boys and girls. So for today's math class, we're going to be working on dividing decimals, and we're going to be talking about having decimals in our divisor. And remember, that's the number that's kind of outside our division box. So first of all, we're going to talk about what we would do if we had a decimal outside the box in that divisor and how we would go about dividing a problem. So I'm just going to start off with a very simple problem for us to practice. We did a few problems like this before we got out for the spring break, the longest spring break ever. And so we practiced a little bit. So remember, we cannot keep a decimal outside in our divisor. So we've got to practice on getting rid of that. So what we're going to do is we want to get rid of that decimal. Whatever we do to this decimal, we have to do to this decimal as well. So for this one, we're going to make this decimal jump behind the 2, and then it's going to go away. Then we're going to take this decimal and let it jump behind the 4 and let it go away. So now our decimal would be right here, and we really don't include that in our answer right now. So our problem really simplifies to 2 can go into 4. How many times can 2 go into 4? It can go into it 2 times. So our answer for this one would be 2, okay? So now let's try a problem that's a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger. We're going to practice doing decimal 0.7, so 7/10 into 1.68, 1 68/100ths, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that decimal jump all the way to the back of the line behind that so it becomes like a whole number. So we're going to jump this one 2 times, 1, 2 times to the right. Whatever we do to this side, we have to do this side. It's like a seesaw. We got to balance it, okay? So this one jumps 2 times behind, and now it's behind the 8. So now our problem really is 7 going into 168. Can 7 go in? We're going to put our tick marks like we always do. Can 7 go into 1? No, 0 times. Can 7 go into 16? Yes. How many times? 4. The number I just wrote down times the number outside the box goes right here to subtract 4. Clearly, I'm thinking 14, and teacher Ashley needs some coffee. Pretty much, that sums it up. The number I just wrote down times the number outside the box goes right here to subtract. I can hear people like Amari, and I can hear people like Trevor, and Addison would be giving me that puzzled face, and then Avery would be raising her hand. McKinley would be saying, Miss Lawrence, something's wrong. I know you guys would have stopped me, right? Y'all would have stopped me. 2 times 7 equals 14. 16 minus 14 equals 2. So I've subtracted. I bring something down. I gotta put something up, even if it's you got it. How many times can 7 go into 28? Okay. Huh? What? 4 times. Very good. So for my answer, 4 times 7 is 28. I subtract and get 0. So my answer is 24 for this problem. Okay. So now let's try another one where we're practicing jumping that decimal out of our divisor. If we do one side, we have to do the other. Okay. So now my new problem. I need y'all here to help me. What's going on? This isn't right. Okay, here we go. So I have 2 numbers behind the decimal here, so I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to need to make this one jump 2 times behind that 7 to make it like a whole number. 2 times to the right. Whatever I do to that one, I have to do to this one as well. So now it's like a whole number into a whole number. Our problem has changed to 37 into 518. Let's put our tick marks up here. Can 37 go into 5? No. Can 37 go into 51? Yes. And remember, that's where we use our like compatible numbers, our eharmony.com numbers. Can 3 go into 5? Yes. About how many times? 1. So we're going to put a 1 here. We're going to try that first. 1 times 37 is 37. And subtract. Okay, and then 7, what is 11? Minus 7, that would be our 4. And 4 minus 3 is 1. Now I bring down my 8. Okay, how many times can 37 go into 148? So I'm going to look at that 3 and that 14 here, and I'm going to say, well, you know, 3 can go into 14 probably about how many times? I would say 4, because we know 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to put a 4 here. Off to the side, I can do 37 times 4 to see what that answer is going to be. 18, I'm at 28, carry the 1. So I'm going to put 148. So now I know my answer is 14. 14 is my answer. Okay, let's try another one. And guys, we're just moving those decimals out. We are just moving those decimals out. So if I had 6.3 divided by 0.7 equals, and it was written this way, I know the first number is the first number. It goes inside the box. That's my dividend. So I'm going to say 6.3. 0.7 is outside the box. So this is going to hop one place to the right. This one hops one place to the right. So now my question is really 7 into 63. And we know that answer would be 9. Okay? Let's try another one. Lots of examples. This is kind of a new skill, so I'm going to do several of these. 0.34 34 hundredths going into 12.24. 12 and 24 hundredths. So we're going to jump this one, 2 places behind, and this one goes 1, 2 places behind. And so now I have the problem of 1,224 divided by 34. Okay, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 tick marks here. I have my 4 tick marks here. And let's get to working. How many times can 34 go into 1? It can't. How many times can 34 go into 12? It can't. How many times can 34 go into 122? Probably maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times. I know 34 is kind of like in the middle, like 35, so it's kind of rounding up to 40. So I think I'm going to try 3 first. So let's do 34 times 3 out to the side. And I get 102. Let's do 34 times 4 just to be on the safe side. And I see that that one was too big, so I can't use that one. So we are going to use 34 times 3. So I'm going to put a 3 up here. The number I just wrote down times the number outside the box goes right here to subtract. Okay, 2 minus 0 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0, and 4, bring down our 4. You bring something down, you gotta put something up, even if it's you got it. Okay, how many 3s are in a 20? How many 3s are in a 20? We would say probably it would be close to 3 times what? 3 times 6. So let's try 5 first, and then we'll say 6. So 34 times 5 is 20. So that'd be 170. Let's do 34. We're just trying to see what number is going to go up here. Times 6. And that would be 18, 19, 20. And look, guys, 6 is the perfect match because it's 204. Hard to write on this little board. So I'm going to erase this right here. I'm going to put a 6 up here because that worked out perfectly. 6 times 34 is 204, and I'm going to subtract and get 0. So my answer is 36. My answer is 36. Okay, so now let's look at our page that we're going to be doing in our packet. Now let's look at the first one here. This one does not have a number. That's a decimal outside the box. So when that happens, what I do is I'm going to put my tick marks up top like we always do. There's 4. I just bring that decimal straight up and just solve the problem like normal. And guys, these aren't going to have remainders. So if you have a remainder, you did something wrong, okay? So right here, this one has a decimal. We're just going to pull that decimal straight up, and we're going to have a decimal in our answer. I'm trying to make it bigger so you can see. 1 tick mark decimal, and then 3 tick marks. Okay, on J here, you do have 2 numbers behind that decimal in the dividend. So I'm going to jump it 2 places behind the 3. And this one jumps 2 places, and it goes behind the 4. So in that answer, it's going to come straight up. We may work that one out together. Let's work J out together. I want to give you an example of that. So let's work that one out really quickly, because I just want to make sure that you know how to do that one. That one's a little bit different than the ones we had in the book from our Go Math book. Those other ones came from our Go Math book. So let's practice doing this one really quickly. So we have 0.03, and we're going into 0.747. So 3/10 into 747 thousandths. Okay, I've got to get rid of that decimal outside the box that's in my divisor. So I'm going to jump it 2 places to the right. 2 places to the right. Okay, on this one, I'm going to jump it 2 places to the right. 1, 2, and so it's going to be behind the 4. It did not jump all the way out, and that is fine. It can do that. Okay, so my answer will be tick mark, tick mark, tick mark, decimal, tick mark. Okay, can 3 go into 0? No. Can 3 go into 7? Yes, 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to subtract and get 1. Bring down my 4. I bring something down. I got to put something up, even if it's a 0, but in this case, it's not. 3 can go into 14 how many times? 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. Now I'm going to subtract. 14 minus 12 is 2. Bring down my 7. So now I've got a 27 down there, and I see that 3, and they're compatible. When I see 3 and 27, I can't help but yell out 9. 3 can go into 27 9 times. 9 times 3 is 27. I get a 0 for the remainder. So my answer is 24.9. 24 and 9/10 is my answer. So that would be for J. So you should be good to go now. I'm also going to put another Mr. Math blog lesson in there for you to see as well how to do this. Just in case you're still a little bit lost, it's okay. Try your best. Fight through it. Sometimes when we're uncomfortable, that's when the best learning happens. Because if we are comfortable, that means we already know how to do it. So there's no sense in, that would be like us never learning anything new. So if you're uncomfortable, you're learning something new. I'm very proud of you guys. Keep working hard this week, and I'll be posting some more videos on Wednesday for Social Studies and Science. I hope you have a great week. Bye.